This is SPSS Basics 5th edition PowerPoint. We are starting on Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is frequency polygons. And for our learning objectives, we're going to learn how to create a frequency polygon using SPSS statistics. We will learn how to distinguish between the terms statistical figure and statistical table. We will format an SPSS frequency polygon for presentation in a research report. We will note the potential for confusion in SPSS output when there is a score with a frequency of 0. And we will create a polygon showing percentages instead of frequencies. So what is a frequency polygon? Well, a frequency polygon is a line drawing that shows the frequency or the number of cases for each score within a distribution. Also remember that frequency distributions should be created only for scale variables, and a frequency polygon can show the same information as a histogram that we completed in Chapter 4, but it does the information with lines instead of bars. So to create a frequency polygon, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to look at your text, you're going to open SPSS, you're going to click Start. This is step 1 through 3, and if you can go ahead and complete those, terrific. If not, you might need to return to Chapter 2. Then we'll go to step 4. Now, at step 4, we need to name the variable, and so we label it, we name it social, because we are doing a social anxiety variable. The label is going to be social anxiety, and go ahead and change your measure to a scale instead of an unknown variable. Now we're going to click on Data View. Since you've completed your variable view and labeled it, as you see, you have your social scale variable, and you also see that it says scale. If you look where it has the little ruler at the next to the word social, that indicates it is a scale variable. Now go ahead, do step 6, which is enter the scores from table 5.1 in your text or whatever text you're using. Enter those, and this is social anxiety scores on a scale from 10 to 0 for 20 clients. You need to also save the data file. I have not done that yet, but you will need to go ahead and save it. Now, what we're doing is we've created this variable of social anxiety, and now what we're going to do is create a frequency polygon. So go ahead and click on Graphs. You should be on step 8. And then on step 9, go ahead from the drop-down menu of Graphs, click on Chart Builder. So remember that this step 9, the chart builder dialog box, shows you a reminder to make sure that your variables are set to the correct levels of measurement. Now, you should have already completed this, so go ahead and click OK. Now that you have done this, the chart builder window will show up. And what you will do, this is step 10, click on the line to select the line chart. Now what we'll do then, this is step 10, you're clicking on line to select the available line chart graphs. And this is just a simple line chart, line graph. And then you just go ahead and you click on the first simple line graph and you drag it and drop it. And you'll drop the icon into this preview area. So this is the last part of step 11. This should be step 11 in your text. Now that you've done that, step 12 says drag the highlighted social anxiety variable, the social variable. So you're going to select that and you're going to drag it and drop it into the x-axis question mark box. And this is all located within the chart preview window. Note that some version that you may be working on may not actually look like this, but the steps are still the same. Now that you've completed that, what you're going to do is click OK. And now what you'll see is you'll see the chart. And you should be able to see it, and it will look like this in your output. Now we've kind of combined a couple of steps because you should already kind of know how to do this. Now this shows your frequency and your social anxiety scale. So now let's move to the aspect of what is a graph. Now the frequency polygon that you have, this is a graph, and the term graph is used in mass media and fields such as business and economics. So you see it's a G-graph. And what we call these in social and behavioral sciences, so in sociology and psychology, we call this a statistical figure or a figure. So, this is the output that labels it as a G-graph or a geometric graph. And you can label this when you move to completing this in your APA or ASA format. These are considered figures. Now when you do this, you would complete this by simply giving this a figure name and a number. So in this example, what we're showing you, and that I have not included this example in your PowerPoint, but you can see this in your text where it shows how to complete it as figure 5.7, a frequency polygon, and if you could just label it as such, that makes a lot of sense. Now the other thing is make sure that you are following, if you're using APA, that you're following the APA formatting. If you are using ASA within sociology, follow that formatting. Remember, you can go to Purdue OWL to look this up. Now also, this is what you would want to turn in to me is your figure, and I would like to see your G-graph. So your G-graph and your figure. Now the other thing that we can talk about is between a statistical figure and a statistical table. Now a statistical table is on page 44. So you have a statistical table that you have already completed within chapter 4, and I'm sorry, the table on page 44 in chapter 5, your frequency polygon, that's considered a table. Now what we have is a statistical table which is an ordered set of statistical values without drawing. Now, what you can do is look at the differences and follow your information box 5.1. Now, here we're going to do our next activity, which is to create a polygon that shows percentages instead of frequencies. So now what you'll do is you go back to your chart builder. You're going to click on the drop down button, and as you see, you're going to click on percentage with a question mark in parentheses. And then you're going to click OK. So you should be able to see it. Your chart builder should look somewhat like this. As you notice in your chart preview, it has changed now from frequency to percentage. You still have your social anxiety scale variable. It shows you that you are using your simple line, and that you have your percentage in the drop down menu. So click OK. Now what you will see is your percentage. So if you look, your graph, your geometric graph, shows your percentage and the scale, the social anxiety scale. And you'll want to label this as well in an APA or ASA format. And you'll want to turn that labeled one in. Now you'll complete your exercises for Chapter 5. Complete them the same way. And what you need to do is make sure that you turn both of those in along with your chapter work. This is the end of your SPSS Package 1. So Chapter 1 through 5 should be included in your SPSS Package 1. We'll go to SPSS Package 2 next, beginning with Chapter 6.